CapitaLand has placed sustainability at the core of what we do for many years. In fact, we started this journey more than 20 years ago because we believe that to be a responsible company, we want to make sure that whatever we do, we think about the positive impact on the environment and the community that we operate in.
Research and innovation leading to commercialization is a space where public and private sectors must collaborate. Initiatives such as the CapitaLand Sustainability X challenge help to uncover unique solutions that may offer the right competitive edge. It also gives innovators an opportunity to test bait and refine their ideas, which can eventually be scaled up to benefit businesses, consumers, and our environment.
Welcome to the inaugural CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge Grand Finale, coming to you live from the Raffles City Convention Center here in Singapore.
This is why I'm here to share this solution with you.
Congratulations, it's a remarkable solution. It really seems like something out of science fiction.
The next revolution in cooling tower water treatment technology.
I like what you say about the value proposition.
And how it transforms the facades and windows of existing buildings into energy efficient, smart and sustainable systems without removing or replacing anything at all.
What have you done to prove it's going to be okay?
I will propose stop using aluminum curtain walls.
What is the feedback that maybe the building authorities may have with regards to the materials that you are using?
We take the decision that you have when you're throwing away an item into recycling or a landfill, and we automate that.
Can you elaborate a little bit on how the robotics work with the AI engine?
A device that can control the spread of the virus and make indoor air healthy and safe.
Have you thought about the implications on your own business model, about the capital requirements, and why you think that this is something that you'll be able to sustain?
Sustainability has become at the top of the agenda of many countries and businesses. Earlier, you've heard from Minister Grace Fu that Singapore is pouring huge investments into developing the green economy. And the built environment is going to be a very important part of that whole economy. Some people say that data is the new oil in the digital era. So is sustainability the new gold in real estate investments?
So for us, the risk is the other way. The risk is not acting, and that's the risk that we think should be avoided. And therefore, it is absolutely, potentially, the big investment opportunity of the next years and maybe even decades.
The companies that will survive in the future have no choice but today to start to think and start to act around sustainability, because if you want to attract talent, if you want to attract customers, you want to attract finance, you want to even do business in certain countries, you need to adopt sustainable practices, otherwise you'll die.
I must say, the 6 shortlisted, they have shown very viable solutions, and it has made the competition quite intense. So I must say it wasn't an easy job for the judges, but we have come up with 2 winners.
The most innovative award that we are going to announce the winner of, Climatech Corp Private Limited. Congratulations. The winner of the High Impact Award, Innoviews Inc.
We'd like to thank our guests of honor, our panel of judges, the CapitaLand Organizing Committee, and of course our mentors.
Thank you so much. It's a great honor for Innoviews to be selected as the High Impact Award winner.
Good afternoon, everyone, and great to see so many of you with us today. For those who might not know me yet, my name is John, and I oversee corporate partnership for Plug and Play in the region. This year, we are proud to be supporting CapitaLand on the CSXC, CapitaLand's global sustainability innovation platform to advance innovation and collaboration in sustainability within the built environment. Through the CSXC, CapitaLand aims to source for emerging solutions and technologies globally to solve sustainability challenges impacting its business and accelerate its progress to meet its 2030 Sustainability Master Plan targets. As part of today's agenda, we have a welcome address by CapitaLand, a welcome address by Plug and Play, an overview of the CSXC, a Q&A segment, and a fireside chat with last year's winners. We hope that after today's session, you'll be informed on CapitaLand's sustainability goals and the CSXC program. Throughout this briefing session, please feel free to submit any questions you might have in the Q&A button located on the bottom right of your screen. Without further ado, I'll now hand my time over to Lynette Leong, CapitaLand's Chief Sustainability Officer, to start off the welcome address. Lynette, please.
Thank you, John. Okay, it's like Hitch. I'm here. Oh, video showing me? Okay, it's not on my screen. All right. Thank you, John, and Plug and Play for organizing this webinar. I would like to really send our really Happy New Year to everybody, and thank you for taking the time to join this webinar. I think there are many out there who are very enthusiastic about our sustainability challenge, and we're so proud to have completed it last year, an inaugural challenge, and this year is our second edition, and we want it to be even better than last year. So, and we're very pleased to have Plug and Play collaborate with us to organize this webinar as well as the sustainability challenge. So I just wanted to take a few minutes to share with you where CapitaLand is coming from, so that the innovators out there can better, position yourself to know what kind of solutions that we're looking for. I think the key is that we want to, as a global sustainability leader, especially in the real estate space or the built environment, what we want to do is to bring in new solutions and ideas to help the built environment become more sustainable, and to create a more sustainable planet for the future. And at the same time, we have a sustainability master plan, which we launched last year, and which I will share with you in a few moments. And this actually aligns our aspiration to become a real leader in the built environment in sustainability. And we believe that with technology and solutions that could help us, and therefore the sustainability challenge is focused on those aspects. So I would like to first of all say that to share with you what sustainability means to CapitaLand. The next slide, please. I don't see any slide on my screen at all. So, okay, thank you. Okay, now this is we regard sustainability being at the core of everything we do. So as a real estate company, we are actually in an investment management business. And as we grow our business, we want to grow in a responsible manner. And at the same time, when we deliver long-term economic value, we want to contribute to the environmental and social well-being of our communities as well. Next slide, please. So for those of you who are overseas and may not be familiar with CapitaLand, we are actually one of Asia's largest diversified real estate groups. We are located in more than 30 countries and over 250 cities. We have a very diverse portfolio, not only in office, in retail. Now, if you are in Singapore and in Asia, you will probably be occupying one of our office buildings, or shopping in our malls, or even staying at our service residences. Other than these asset classes, we also have industrial properties, logistics properties, data centers. So, in this wide range of properties, what you innovators will get to experience is that when you bring the solutions to us, we offer you the potential or the opportunity to pilot your solutions in our properties if you're one of the top winners. And you also get to scale these solutions up across all our asset classes, across different cities in the world. So that is a real potential that you have the opportunity of. sorry, there's a lot of people around me taking care of my slides. Thank you. So I would really encourage that this is really, as an entrepreneur, I believe that you have great solutions you want to test out. And these are the sandboxes we offer to you. Next, please. Now, we are guided by a sustainability master plan, as I've earlier mentioned to you. And these are the 3 pillars that you see on the screen that help us to focus. Now, first of all, we want to build, we want to enable, and we want to accelerate. Now, what do we want to build? We want to build a portfolio that is resilient, and we want to future-proof our assets against climate change risks. And in this, it means transitioning to a low carbon economy. So we would like to look at solutions that will help us to do that, reduce carbon emissions, improve energy efficiency, improve water consumption efficiency, and then also incorporating circular economy into our waste management practices. Then secondly, we want to enable, and that concerns all the communities that operate in our properties, our tenants, our supply chain, our employees as well. So you have a solutions that's around that. For example, during COVID-19, as a building owner and operator, we want our buildings to be absolutely healthy and safe for our occupiers. So if you have solutions around that, that's also what we are looking for. And the third pillar is about accelerating. So one of the things that we are accelerating sustainability is this Sustainability X challenge. And we believe that with the collaboration with startups, with the entrepreneurs, we will be able to achieve our master plan targets faster. I think later on, my colleague Ted Howland will elaborate more on what these different solutions that we're looking for are. But I just want to mention that the solutions actually not only fit into our properties, but they are actually quite universal. Same challenges that are being faced by other building owners. So in terms of scalability, it is not only scaling up in our properties, but the potential is really enormous. Next, please. Now, we recognize that sustainability, as I mentioned, needs a lot of innovation, especially in the built environment. So what we are looking for are solutions that are unique and emerging, and basically nothing that we have seen before. I'm sure it's out there somewhere amongst you audience. So I mentioned also that amongst many different asset classes, different types of properties we have, if you are one of the winners, you get to pilot in one of our properties. You also get to the potential to scale them up globally. At the same time, we offer you the funding to do that. And for each winning solution, we offer up to $50,000 each. And at the same time, we also offer a lot of publicity, and you will hear from the past year's 2 winners about the kind of exposure we've been giving them and continue to give them. Next, please. So in the past edition, we actually selected 6 winning solutions. And this year we are increasing that to 10. And at the same time, also increasing the amount of funding involved. In the last year's edition had 2 award winners. One was most innovative and another high impact. I'm not going to steal their thunder because they are going to share with you more later on. For the other 4 solutions, they concerned things like building materials, to make building materials more sustainable. It also concerned making the environment cleaner and healthier. So, I mean, these are some of the ideas that we have, but my colleague Ted will elaborate later on. And because I don't want to keep you from the next parts of the program, so I just want to wish everybody all the best and Happy New Year to all of you. We look forward to receiving your submissions in due course. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynette. Next up, we have Jupe Tan, Plug and Play's managing partner, to share more about Plug and Play and what we do. Jupe, please.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Lynette. Thanks, John. Just want to make sure you're hearing me okay. Please stop me if you're not. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today, and welcome again to this briefing session. My name is Jupe, and I oversee the activities for Plug and Play in Asia Pacific. Thank you again to Lynette and the CapitaLand team for entrusting us to work with them in this initiative, and to all of you for being here. And I do hope that the year is starting well for everyone, for all of you. Plug and Play is really excited to join CapitaLand this year to power their Sustainability X challenge. And we hope that many of you are coming with great solutions that you can apply with for the various challenge areas. Sorry, the slides are a little bit slow for me. So let me kick off with a brief introduction to Plug and Play. We are the world's largest open innovation platform, connecting all of the stakeholders in the innovation ecosystem. There are three core pillars to our global activities. First, we run startup accelerator programs around the world. Most of these are industry themed and stage agnostic, ranging from broader themes such as sustainability to more focused areas such as insurtech or agritech. We also run customized programs for some of our partners, such as our accelerator programs with Facebook, the Alliance to End Plastic Waste, and challenges such as this one. Second, we work with over 500 multinational companies, MNCs, and conglomerates to supercharge their innovation activities. What does that mean? That includes their participation in our various accelerator programs, where we aggregate their problem statements and interest areas to enable us to search and source for startups that they can work with. This might be for POCs or commercialization. We work with them in areas such as innovation and design thinking, as well as other workshops to help foster a culture of innovation in the organization, or even to help them to invest in startups through their investment arms or their CVCs as well. That takes me to the last pillar. At the end of the day, we are early stage investors ourselves, and our passion is to help accelerate startup success all around the world. We've been investing in early stage startups across industries and around the world since the late 90s. And today we are happy that we are averaging almost around 200 investments per year. Next slide, please. I think 2021 and perhaps 2020 for that matter was a challenging year for everyone. I'm happy to say that despite the pandemic, we continued in our mission. We grew globally and we helped startups all around the world as well. We virtualized the majority of our activities, and in 2021 conducted over 1,300 events virtually, hybrid, and some luckily in person as well. We launched 10 new locations ranging from cities such as Alberta in Canada to Antwerp in Europe, Hyderabad in India, and Seoul in Korea. Some of these we managed to do in person, but we're also quite creative with hybrid and virtual setups as well. We do strongly believe that innovation does not stop in a pandemic. In fact, the needs for digitization and digitalization have become even more apparent. That leads me to us having a really great year for our investment activities last year. So last year, we're still totaling up the numbers, but I think we ended the year with 210 new investments. I'm also happy to add that we added 12 new unicorns to our global startup portfolio. I'm speaking to you here from sunny Singapore, our regional HQ, and one of our key hubs in the world. Our global team consists of over 600 team members, 1/3 of whom are on our ventures teams. They are the ones that are constantly sourcing for and talking to and engaging with startups, and that enables us to find the best startups to work with partners and also to invest in. Next slide, please. So just a little bit about our overall ecosystem, our open innovation ecosystem. We like to say that we surround startups with opportunities and stakeholders that can accelerate their success. That ranges from government agencies that might provide R&D support market access programs, funding support, corporations such as CapitaLand that are eager to work with startups, as well as other business development, investment, and mentorship networks and opportunities. Let me wrap up by sharing our journey into sustainability. We started off around 3 years ago with our first program focused on plastics waste reduction. Since then, we have launched programs in around 10 locations around the world, focused on themes ranging from circularity and carbon to water resilience, sustainable agriculture, sustainable fashion, and in the case of the CapitaLand Sustainability X challenge, the built environment and other interest areas. We do believe that we only have one Earth and that we all play a part in this journey to create a sustainable future, and that's why we strongly believe in initiatives like this. I will hand you back to John and Ted and the team to share the details of the challenge. Thank you very much, and again, a Happy New Year to all as well.
Thank you, Drew. Next up, we have Ted Howland, Vice President of Group Sustainability for CapitaLand, to share more about the CSXC. Ted, the stage is yours.
Good afternoon. My name is Ted Howland, Vice President, Group Sustainability of CapitaLand Investment, and I would like to welcome you to our CSXC 2022 briefing session and take you through the objectives and our challenge statements. Next slide, please. All righty. Our Sustainability X Challenge is our global platform to advance innovation and collaboration in sustainability within the built environment. Through this challenge, we aim to source you for emerging solutions and technology globally to solve our sustainability challenges, impacting our business and accelerating our progress to meet the 2030 Sustainability Master Plan targets. For CSXC 2022, we have developed 7 challenge statements under 4 focus areas. Those focus areas are low carbon transition, water management and circular economy, waste management and circular economy, water conservation and resilience, and healthy and safe buildings. Under low carbon transition, we want to hear from you and see how your solutions would help us to achieve on-site clean energy for our existing buildings, or how we might achieve significant reduction in energy consumption for our existing buildings. Under waste management and circular economy, we want to see your technologies for better segregating waste at source for recycling or treatment, or how to construct circular economic solutions that we can introduce to manage resources and waste across our properties and our construction sites. Under water conservation and resilience, we want to see your technologies for new ways of water management in our existing properties so that we can detect oddities in our water usage patterns or detect leaks more simply and more effectively. We are also eager to see how your technology can help us reduce potable water usage in our buildings with water harvesting or recycling methods. Finally, under healthy and safe buildings, we want to see what technologies you can bring to the table to improve the indoor air quality, to enhance the wellness of the users in our existing buildings. Next slide, please. For the format and structure from our side, there are 5 main areas. There's the campaign outreach and sourcing, which includes this CSXC 2022 briefing session to give you the details and context you need to understand the challenge, and hopefully to inspire you to register for the challenge today or even sooner. We will then be shortlisting the top 20 to 30 applicants to pitch on a selection day, which will winnow them down to the top 10 to enter a special mentorship program. Now, in this mentorship program, we'll be assigning mentors to advise and guide our top 10 applicants on their business case, applicability, proof of value, commercialization, and clear presentation of the information. This will lead to and culminate in our demo day at the end of June 2022, where the top 10 will be presenting to judges to stand a chance to pilot their innovation at one of our properties with up to Singapore dollar 50,000 to cover each pilot's costs. There are 3 special recognition awards that will also be awarded: High Impact, Most Innovative, and Carbon Action Hero, which will come with an additional $50,000 to cover the pilot costs. Next slide, please. For the process and timeline, we began with the soft launch on the 9th of December, 2021. So we thank any of you on the call that have already registered or already submitted. Today we have our briefing session, and most importantly, the applications close on 28th of February, 2022. I'll get into more on that in a moment. Our selection day and announcement of top 10 finalists will occur in the middle of April, with the mentorship program beginning in May and stretching until demo day in June. And again, our demo day is scheduled for the 30th of June. Next slide, please. For your perspective, how the process will work for you is it'll begin with the registration of interest. This is live, this is active. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now. Alternatively, Plug and Play will also be dropping the link into the chat feature. So this is where it begins. It takes about 5 minutes or so for you to fill out the form, register your interest. It'll involve some of your project details, your objectives for applying, and some of the information on your technology. This is absolutely critical because it's how the process starts for you. Within 7 days of receiving your registration, we will have completed a pre-screening, and if you've passed the pre-screening, we'll be sending you the full submission form. Now, this will involve much more detail on your project, including pitch decks, technical information, and supporting documents. It will take some time to fill out, and the closing deadline is the 28th of February 2022. So we urge you to register as soon as possible so you can begin looking at and assembling the data for the full submission as soon as possible. Please don't leave it to the last moment. We want to see your applications. After the full submissions have been received, there'll be another internal round of evaluation, and those that are selected, the top 20 to 30, for our selection day will be notified and prepare a 5-minute pitch to send to our judges, to present to our judges, and then from there, the top 10 will enter our mentorship program, which will extend from May through June. This is the 2-month mentorship program with industry experts that'll help you refine your business value propositions to both CapitaLand and the broader business ecosystem. It's a very valuable tool, and the winners from last year will cover it slightly in their talks as well. Finally, in demo day, the top 10 will be giving their pitches to stand a chance to pilot the innovation at a CapitaLand property with up to $50,000 to cover the cost of each pilot. Again, there'll be 3 special recognition awards: High Impact, Most Innovative, and Carbon Action Hero, each of which will get an additional $50,000 to cover their pilot costs. So if you go through to demo day, you're selected to demo day with one of the awards, you'll have up to $100,000 to cover the cost of your pilot. Next slide, please. For judging criteria, we're going to be judging you on the impact and value for CapitaLand Group. How much impact, how much can you save? What can you offset with your innovation and technology? It'll also be looking at the creativity and your solution, how your solution meets one of our 7 challenge statements. Is it something that nobody has thought of before? Is it an interesting way of using new technology? Is it brand new and unseen before? We want to see the new stuff. We want to see very interesting things. Also important is the potential to scale and deploy across different geographies and asset types of our properties. As our Chief Sustainability Officer highlighted, we have holdings in over 250 cities and over 30 countries. We have a massive portfolio and we cover a lot of asset types. So a solution which works very well in Singapore is good. If it's a solution that works very well in Singapore, in Australia, in India, and China as well, very, very good. If it can work in across all of our geographical holdings, that's absolutely the best. So we're looking very forward to innovations that can scale and we can deploy across multiple assets. As an important, not actually a judging criteria, but an important factor, your solution must be at least technology readiness level 8 or above, and you must own the intellectual property. To be clear on this point, as part of participating in the CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge 2022, you will hold all of your intellectual property. We would be making no claim on your intellectual property, but we need to deal with the person who holds the intellectual property. Throughout the process, you'll be judged by experts from CapitaLand, from Plug and Play, and also from selected industry experts that we bring into the process. So the exposure just of going through the process is quite good and quite valuable. Next slide, please. Again, the prizes and the details. Who's going to get prizes? Up to 10 selected startups from demo day. What are the prizes? Well, number 1, you get to pilot your solution at CapitaLand. Number 2, you get at least $50,000 to cover your pilot costs. Number 3, you've got the chance to win a special recognition award, High Impact, Most Innovative, Carbon Action Hero. Also, when we do the pilot, it is going to be very well organized, and the data that is generated from it will be compelling. So we will be working with you. Under how? We will be working with the selected startups to select the location, the scope, the details, and the timeline of the pilot project. So at the end of the day, you have very conclusive data. You have a very conclusive case study, and we'd be standing with you. You would need to provide the cost proposals needed to carry out the pilot, but we'll be in this journey with you together. Next slide, please. And with that, we end the majority of the information from our side. We have lots of answers. We hope you have lots of questions, and we would like to kick off our Q&A session. Over to you, John.
Thank you, Ted. So now Ted will be fielding some questions from the audience. Please feel free to submit your questions through the Q&A button that can be found on the bottom right of your screen. So I think I want to address some admin questions first that have been asked in the Q&A. Ted, will we be sending out slides to the participants of this briefing session after this is all done?
Yes, we'll be sending out the presented slides to the registered participants of the briefing session. You can also access much of the information on our CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge 2022 website.
Amazing. So I think another more admin question that was asked as well is that in some cases, there are some startup founders that could not attend the briefing session today. Will there be a recorded version of this posted after the live event?
Yes, there will be a recorded version posted after the live event. There are also subsequent briefing sessions which they may be able to attend as well, which gives them the opportunity to ask questions live in case they're worried that the Q&A here does not quite cover what they're looking for. So you can look out for additional briefing sessions if you're hearing this on the recording and your question was not asked. Alternatively, on the website, there's also an email address which you can ask additional questions, and please feel free to use it.
All right, so I think now we'll dive a little bit more into the more technical questions about the application of the CSXC. One of the questions that's come in is, what if our solution can only be deployed in one type of CapitaLand's assets? Do we still qualify?
Yes, you still qualify. We're very interested in all types of solutions. Again, it's ideal if it can go across more than one asset type, but if it addresses a problem faced by one particular type and addresses that problem very well and very innovatively, then we are very interested. So please apply, please apply, please register today.
Please apply. So I think another question that came in is, according to the challenge statement details, you want submissions with products of at least a TRL 8 or above. But what if their prototype is TRL 6 with a successful track record in at least one case study? I think this is more nuanced question. Over to you, Ted.
This is indeed a more nuanced question. And we're looking for technology readiness level 8 solutions, referring to solutions with actual systems completed and validated through test and demonstrations for intended operational environment. If your solution has not yet achieved this technology readiness level, then we will be running CSXC in 2023, 2024, 2025, and beyond. So when you have achieved those, you can apply at that stage as well.
All right, so I think another question that came in is, where can one find the definitions for the TRL levels?
The technology readiness level definitions. Again, we're using the definition of a solution which has an actual system completed and validated through test and demonstration for its intended operational environment. If the solution does not have these prerequisites, then we welcome you to submit in future CSXCs.
Sounds good. To add on to Ted's point, you can also find the formal definitions for the TRL levels on the NASA website. So if you just Google NASA TRL levels, you should be able to find a good definition there. So another question that came in is I think a lot of questions that are coming in regarding the TRL levels, but is TRL 8 non-negotiable?
Let's see. First, I also want to clarify in case the other question was about pre-revenue. All of our answers here are about technology readiness level. Readiness, not revenue levels. So as far as the negotiability, again, if you have a solution which has a system completed and it's validated, then we are very interested. If it has not reached those 2 milestones, then we would suggest that an application for 2024 or 2025 may be more appropriate, because we are looking for solutions which can be piloted in fairly short term. And if it's going to be another year, 2 years to assemble all this information to be prepared, then it's more suitable to hit future versions of CSXC. We're CapitaLand, we're not going anywhere. We're going to be having CSXCs, so you won't be missing out. And we are ready to pilot when it's TRL level 8.
Great. So another question had just come in. We had applied for the CSXC last time. Should we still apply this time? Or the chances of success will become really low if they're not chosen last time?
Let's see, there could have been a number of reasons where they were not chosen last time, but we strongly encourage anyone to apply this time, especially since a year has passed. Now we have upped the funding levels, we've upped the numbers. There is greater opportunity. And also, over the past year, there may have been greater developments on the technology side, which would help to address any of the factors which resulted in non-selection last year. So just because you did not make it through one CSXC, it's not a black mark. Please do continue to apply. You're more than welcome to, and you are not disadvantaged.
That sounds great. So I think an interesting question just came in. Can I still apply if my solution does not exactly fit the challenge statements, but will still benefit CapitaLand's property assets?
Oh.
So I can repeat that, but basically their solution does not fit the challenge statements, but maybe in some other way, maybe aside from sustainability, it will benefit CapitaLand's properties.
Okay. If it doesn't fit the challenge statements, our challenge statements were written quite broadly to tie in with our CapitaLand Sustainability Master Plan 2030. So if it doesn't fit the challenge statements, if it cannot fit within any of the 7 statements, then CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge is probably not the appropriate place, and we would suggest that the innovator pursue other pathways, other alternatives, because as a real estate company, we have carefully crafted the challenge statements to capture what we are looking for, where our pain points are, where we think we can bring value to the innovator as well as ourselves, and where we can pilot. So, for example, if it were a solution for animal feed, within our vast array of assets, we don't have any animal feedlots, so there would be quite a difficulty in piloting and quite a mismatch. So we would say, please assess your solution, and if it fits within our broad challenge statements and categories. Thank you.
All right. Another question that we have, I'm interested to submit a solution for water leak detection. But before we submit our solution, is there any way to get visibility of the current systems in place, such as water meters, BMS? Plus, can we find out about whether these systems are open for integration? So I think, on a more high, broad level, it's really just asking, can we find out more information about CapitaLand's current operations and any way that we can apply our solution to current existing infrastructure?
That's a very good question. And again, to emphasize, we have over 1,000 properties in over 250 cities, over 30 countries. So it would be quite a challenge logistically to consider opening up any of our systems to applicants. So I would still urge the applicant to register and to submit and apply, and highlight what they would need to do and how they would need to integrate, so that if they make it through to demo day and are selected in demo day, then we will be working very closely and start opening up our properties to select a appropriate location. And then we would talk about the requirements and limitations and caveats on any integration, such as to a building management system or other instrumentation. We have gone through this and done this with our CSXC 2021 winners and other pilots. So we have a process in place. We can do that once we have selected you. So make a good pitch, show us how well your technology can work, use some stand-in values, and then hopefully we'll be hearing directly from you during selection day and demo day.
All right. So I think I actually have some questions on my from my end actually, where I'm curious to know, are there any judging criteria that may be way heavier than others?
No, the three judging criteria highlighted are fairly equally weighted. And again, if you do superbly in one but are weak in another, that's still okay. That's still okay. We are still very, very interested. Just remember that you must own your IP, and we're not going to try to take any of your IP, and you've got to be technology readiness level 8.
On the topic of IP, a question that came in as well was that a startup's product IP is jointly owned by a research entity. Will this prevent them from being shortlisted?
Now, all submissions must be the original work owned by the participant and not violate or infringe on any intellectual property rights, proprietary rights, or other rights, including but not limited to patent, trademark, open source license permissions, or other privacy rights of any other person or entity. So if you submit jointly with that research entity, it should be okay. But if you submit without them, there will be a problem. We need to be talking with the complete owners of the IP.
Okay. Is the challenge only open to startups? What about other forms of venture? And must they be developing products or also open to commercial ready products?
All right, that's also a very interesting question. With our CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge, we're really trying to focus on startups and new technologies. If it's a technology which is widely established in the market, if it can be widely purchased off the shelf, if it's been installed many other places, then the Sustainability X Challenge is not the right place. It would go through a different mechanism or a different set of discussions. We're looking for things for technologies, for innovations, which have not had such an opportunity to demonstrate their effectiveness, and so they will be the new thing. And I should clarify, they can be off-the-shelf components, but would have to be put together in a new and innovative way and manner.
Okay, I think on the topic of really just maturity of a product, I think a question that came in as well was, will we accept final year projects which are not very well established?
Oh, is in like a final year research projects for like PhD, master's students, something like that?
That is what I'm suspecting, yes.
If that is the definition, final year school project, we would not be interested in that level, as I don't think it would meet technology readiness level 8. It sounds like it could be interesting and intriguing, but again, not for the CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge. And I want to clarify a little bit more on my previous answers about distribution of technology. If something has been piloted somewhere else before, that's still okay, just as long as it's not in widespread use. If for some reason it hasn't caught fire yet, we're happy for CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge to be the spark or to be the fuel to catch that particular fire. So for example, our winners from CSXC 2021, they did have several pilots or installations, but it was not well known. They had not piloted in the CapitaLand property, and it was still an emerging technology. So I hope that clarifies a little bit more on both of those answers.
Okay. I think another admin question kind of came in, but do we have any links for the requirements for the CSXC? Or where can we really find some of these requirements? If I am someone who has general questions about the CSXC and I'm not quite sure what is required of me in order to be eligible for CSXC, where would I go to really find some of these answers?
All right, you would go to our CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge website, which we can put the link in the chat if it's not already been put in the chat. So I'm looking at the Q&A thing. Okay, it's already. I've been told it is already in the chat. So just click on the link, and that will give you the greater information. It'll give you more information about CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge. It will give you more information about the previous winners, so you can take a look at their information, at their levels, at what they are doing. So that can help give you a better idea of whether your technology is, or whether you feel your technology is even more interesting. And if so, please register, and please register soon to give yourself plenty of time to complete the submission process. And if you run into questions during the submission process, there's more information on the website. There's also an email contact address on the website that you can use if you get stuck and truly cannot move.
Okay, so I think we just got a question regarding the piloting phase and what really happens after. It is quite lengthy. I'll read it out to you, but I'll try and rephrase it a bit. Where they're asking, beyond the pilot, is there an assurance via spiral contracts for commercial deployment or a standard procurement method such as getting free vendor quotes that we use for full-scale deployment? If I'm rephrasing this correctly, I think what the attendee that asked this question is really trying to find out is, beyond the pilot, what is really guaranteed for the company, whether it be in commercial partnerships, whether it be in execution? Is there anything else besides a pilot that CapitaLand can provide for winners?
That's a very good. That's a very, very good question from whoever asked it. So I really hope to see your application soon. The main thing is the results of the pilot. So again, if you're one of the winners from demonstration day, one of the pilots, we'll work very closely with you through the whole piloting phase. And if your technology conclusively demonstrates that yes, it works, yes, it provides a benefit or solves a pain point for CapitaLand, then future discussions would take place. We would not be talking about any any discussions on deployment until a pilot has been done. In the situation, which we hope to see very frequently, that the pilot is successful, that the technology is good, that it saves us energy, saves us water, improves our air quality, any of those, then there would be separate commercial discussions on how to best deploy throughout CapitaLand. But those would be after the pilot and separate. Going into the pilot, what is guaranteed is that we will be doing the pilot together. We'll be assessing the information, and we'll be providing publicity. No further contract guarantees at the beginning of the pilot. Those would all be post-pilot discussions.
Mm-hmm. So relating to prizes, I think a question that was asked is, do the finalists, besides the winner, also have the chance to deploy their solutions across CapitaLand's assets?
For demo day, we are in our ideal case, all 10 of those selected for demo day will be able to deploy pilots through CapitaLand assets. All 10.
Amazing. I mean, I think that really just opens up so much opportunities for many of the applicants. I think what is really exciting about the CSXC is that even if you do not proceed to the final rounds, you still have a chance to work with CapitaLand, pilot your solutions, and really try and scale what you have with CapitaLand. Another question that we got regarding judging, actually. Could you elaborate more?
Sorry, John, just to clarify, and to refresh our audience, there are several stages to the system. So after selection day, we'll be winnowing down to the top 10. Those top 10 will go into a very good mentorship program. Those top 10 will present during demo day. Of those 10, in an ideal world, all 10 will be passed to do pilots. If the judges find an issue, all 10 of those may not be. So we're looking to do a maximum of 10 pilots in this round of CSXC 2022. CSXC 2023, we may tweak the numbers, but for 2022, we'll be doing a maximum of 10 pilots. For awards, each of those selected to pilot will be getting $50,000 to put towards the running of their pilot, the realization of their pilot. There will be 3 awards, which will add on to those selected. So the high impact, most innovative, carbon action hero, those would give an additional $50,000. So if all 3 of those are given out, we would have up to 3 innovators with $100,000 pilots, and then the remaining 5, I'm sorry, I didn't do my math. The remaining 7 would have $50,000 each for their piloting.
Thank you for the clarification. So the next question is on judging. Could you elaborate more on your cost-efficient judging criteria? Is there a maximum limit for deployment time and cost?
Also very good technical questions, hopefully from somebody that's already filling out the application form. So the cost efficiency would be strong financial benefits relative to its cost. So only one of the three judging criteria looks at the impact, how your solution brings business value for CapitaLand. We'll also be looking at what extent the solution helps us meet the sustainability master plan targets. We'll also be looking at, does the solution solve an existing problem in a more cost-effective or efficient manner than we have today? So the short version of the answer is there's not a hard and fast number, but we're looking for something that would have financial benefits. The stronger, the better. It would help us achieve our sustainability master plan, and that solves an existing problem or pain point.
All right, so I think the questions have mostly been answered. I'm just going to get to the last question. And we just asked if, Ted, do you have any tips for increasing the likelihood of their full application to be shortlisted?
Oh, well, we have a couple of tips I think we can share. And the very first one is to fill out the expression of interest and registration form as quickly as possible so that you have adequate time to work your way through the full submission form, so that you can do it carefully, so that if you have questions or run into issues or problems, you can flag it up for help. So I think that is the most critical thing. Do not leave the registration too late, or we may be seeing you at CSXC 2023 instead for your first submission. And we really want to see you at CSXC 2022. So the first is register, first, second, and third, register, register, register. After that, please explain as clearly as possible why your solution is innovative and how it will benefit CapitaLand and our global real estate portfolio. Other than that, there's so many different pathways to success. We would have to leave it to the innovators and the startups and others. But again, the top three, register, register, register as soon as possible. Thank you so much, John.
All right, thank you so much, Ted. We will now move on to the last segment of our program, the Fireside Chat with our previous winners. With us today are Anas and Joe. Anas is the founder and CEO of InnoViews, and Joe is the managing director for Climate Tech Corp. Hi, Anas. Hi, Joe. Great to have both of you with us today.
Hi,
if I may, hi. If I may, tell me about yourselves, the business and its technology. Maybe we can just start with Anas.
Sure. Thank you for having me. So my name is Anas Alcasas. I'm the founder and CEO of InnoViews and the inventor of the technology. I'm an architect and a facade systems engineer by background and practice. And I started InnoViews. We provide the only technology that enables existing building facades to be retrofitted with the latest energy saving and smart glass innovations without removal, replacement, or disruption. So through our non-invasive insulating glass retrofits, we offer building owners a high ROI, low carbon window upgrade solution that reduces energy consumption by up to 40%, improves occupants, thermal and acoustic comfort, and increases the value and sustainability of the existing buildings.
I see. Joe, maybe we can hear a little bit from you about Climate Tech.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm Joe Heng, founder and managing director of Climate Tech Corp. We're a startup company formed by 4 individuals with very different backgrounds, but all sharing a common goal, which in our various ways and means to do our part in tackling climate change. You can fathom by the name that was chosen. And the solution that we presented is called the Climate Control Quantum Resonance Water, QRW in short, which is a chemical-free water treatment solution for cooling towers that requires no power to operate. It saves water and energy that is what we think is superior to what is available in the existing market.
I see. Sounds really cool. Anas, I'm just curious, why did you decide to solve the problem that you decided to solve? I think it sounds very unique when you have modified glass. I don't think that's a typical solution that you think of when you try and tackle climate change.
Of course, with buildings being responsible for nearly 40% of global energy consumption and carbon emissions, cities have been increasingly requiring existing buildings to meet stringent emissions targets, and they're offering significant incentives to encourage building owners to carry out energy retrofits. And while many buildings might have gone through some upgrades, one major area that is often overlooked is the windows, despite accounting or being responsible for nearly 40%, for up to 40% of the energy loss in buildings. And this is because, upgrading building windows is a massive undertaking that requires full or partial replacement and months of business disruption, all at extremely high costs. So we wanted to develop a non-intrusive retrofit solution that offers the same benefits of full window replacement at a fraction of the cost and time, without disruption, and up to 10 times faster payback period. So really our mission is to help cities achieve their energy efficiency and emissions reduction targets by increasing the rate of window upgrades in existing buildings.
Interesting, very cool stuff. Joe, how did you sort of come up with this solution to really tackle climate change on your end?
Well, we've been in the water treatment business for over 10 years. We were previously also using chemical treatment, although there was a solid chemistry instead of liquid chemistry. But the solution that we presented was developed based on identifying a gap in the market where existing conventional offerings were all found to fall short of the expectations required by clients who are pursuing their green building sustainability requirements. So the QRW is a chemical-free water treatment, like I said, that requires no power to operate, but at the same time, it would achieve significantly higher water savings than what the current market offerings could attain. It was a product that, when it came out, defied conventional wisdom and was truly a breakthrough product for us.
I see. Anas, I guess when you start out the company, I'm curious, in terms of getting from 0 to 1 and really making sure that there's traction and interest in the company, what were the biggest challenges you faced in the very beginning?
It's really securing early adopters. And in the commercial real estate industry, it's a risk-averse industry, so no one wants to be the first one to try a new technology. So getting, especially when the technology or the solution is a hardware or hard tech, it's not like a software application. So penetrating the market to commercialize the technology and raising funding to do so is really one of our biggest challenges at the beginning. So.
I see. And Joe, was this the same for you?
Yeah, as a startup, I think with no track record in the beginning, it took a lot of effort and hard work and determination. And looking back, perhaps we could say that we made our luck vis-a-vis the amount of effort we put in developing our capabilities, the expertise, and building up the trust in our relationships with clients. So we were fortunate that we had some experience in the water treatment using the solid chemistry. But for the adoption, I think the clients that we already had, based on their trust in us, they went ahead and they gave us the track record and the portfolio that we have, which is expanding currently.
Right. Actually, on the note of funding and business development, I was wondering, so for the both of you, how did you hear about the CSXC? Maybe we can start with Joe this time.
I couldn't really recall where or how we came across the CSXC, but the challenge came at the time where we felt we had a solution that we put out and have a strong chance to stand its ground to other competing technologies. I mean, there were like 270 technologies from 25 countries. And unlike several other solutions in the tech portfolio, where the technology was developed by other countries and other companies overseas, this solution that we presented for the CSXC was co-developed by ClimateTech. So we had the intimate hands-on experience right from conception to inception to implementation. So it was all the right timing for us.
I see. And on us?
I remember I received an email from one of our investors sharing the announcement about the competition or the challenge, and it was interesting for me because a few years before that, I was one of the architects working on a major project for CapitaLand in China. Actually, the one on your left, the 4 towers, Raffles City, Chongqing.
Right.
So I immediately recognized the name and knew that this is going to be an interesting opportunity for us with CapitaLand. So.
I see. It sounds good. What about sort of CapitaLand really drew you to them? I guess for Anas, it's, just the range of buildings that they have. They use they have a lot of glass in their buildings, and I guess for Joe, it's this vast extent of just properties that use that require the systems that you can provide, or a sort of plug-on solution to what they already have. Maybe Anas, you can just give me some clarity on that.
I mean, sure. The fact that CapitaLand is one of the largest real estate owners and developers in Asia, and have a strong commitment to innovation and sustainability was really appealing to us, because we knew that our solution resonate with them and would be a good fit to make an impact across their portfolio with properties not only in Asia, even here in the US as well. So that was really appealing to us.
I see. And Joe?
Well, I think similar to Anna's, CapitaLand itself, and me being Singaporean, we know what CapitaLand is all about. They're also one of the pioneers in sustainability back in 2000. Industry leaders with BCA Green Mark Platinum Champion Award in 2020. And of course, the latest 2030 Sustainability Master Plan. So, and with Climate is a company focused on these very similar value drivers, we hope that we could play our part in this CapitaLand strategic blueprint.
Actually, Joe, to that, before you actually applied for the CSXC, were you aware of the sustainability master plan that CapitaLand had?
Oh yes, I think CapitaLand is very visible in the industry as one of the leaders for the real estate market in Singapore. So yeah, it was an exciting opportunity for us to actually present our solution.
Right. I think you're right. I think in Singapore, we are quite aware of CapitaLand because of their strong presence here and what they're trying to do in sustainability. So Anas, I'm curious, through the process of CSXC, I think it's quite an extensive process, quite long and quite rigorous. What was the most memorable experience that you had during your journey in the CSXC?
Well, actually, it was the award ceremony. It was very well organized, and even though I was participating remotely, I really felt like I was there. It was a really interesting experience overall.
Well, was it strange, I guess, to have an award ceremony remotely? I think we live in a different time now, where having virtual calls is a very normal thing. How is that like, receiving an award virtually?
It was interesting, like having my screen next to the stage, the screen showing the stage and the award. It was what was missing, just maybe having a VR glass or an AR glass and having the trophy basically holding it. That would have been really interesting. But I think it was really quite an interesting experience overall to see everyone from all over the world really joining and celebrating this challenge and the entire 6 months of this program.
Besides the reward sort of ceremony, was there anything through the process that was very challenging, or maybe it was significant in terms of learning about your company and learning about how you can best position your value proposition, or something along those lines that really, gave you more insights into your company and how you're trying to operate and do things?
It was learning more about the commercial real estate market in Asia in general and Singapore in particular, and understanding how beneficial our solution could be to buildings that are in completely different climate zones and have completely different construction and vintage. So that was eye-opening. That was interesting to see, and we ended up running several energy models and buildings in different locations and in Singapore as well to really understand how our solution would perform there. So that was also an interesting part of the journey.
Okay. Which parts in particular for the CSXC did you get insight on this, or was it just something that happened throughout the program?
No, so at the beginning, just to identify the right pilot site at the end. So if in case we got selected as a winner, figuring that out required us to really go through this exercise and to better tell which building would benefit the most and would be an ideal fit for a pilot demonstration. So that was, it took, I think, the first half of the, maybe during the middle of the process, after we started with the mentors and worked on refining our value proposition, we jumped into working on the pilot and the potential pilot site for later on.
I see. So CapitaLand really work with you hand in hand to figure out,
exactly.
How you're going to pilot your solution, as well as just general mentoring to really help the company. I think that sounds great.
Yeah.
So maybe I would like to ask Joe, in terms of your participation in the CSXC, how is that like, and would you have done anything differently?
Well, I think the entire process was definitely an eye-opener for us, from making it to the final six, to the mentorship and the coaching, to the actual day of the finale. I think it would have been, looking back, better time management on our end, because we were doing recordings at 2 to 3 a.m. in the morning, just to fine-tune.
Oh, no.
And at that time of the day, where you're 2 minutes into your recording and you mumble something wrongly, it's quite challenging. Yeah.
I'm sure it is. Maybe you can elaborate a bit more on, I think you talked about the journey being eye-opening. Maybe you can go into more detail on that. What did you mean by eye-opening? Was it something that gave you more industry knowledge? Was it something that gave you more business knowledge?
In this current climate, doing a Zoom presentation online rather than a face-to-face was actually something that was not quite common still at the time. And with the recording itself, we learned a lot about presentation skills, refining the presentation. There were several iterations, revisions, and yeah, it was quite tiring, but we pressed on, and I think it was worth the while.
I see. So would it be safe to say that one thing that you did not know about the CSXC was really this strong component of a strong virtual aspect? Was there anything else about the CSXC that I guess kind of surprised you that you were not expecting, but after you joined the CSXC, you realize that this is something that's part of the process, and something that was really useful for climate tech?
Well, it definitely wasn't a fill up the form, submit a presentation, and wait for the competition finale. I mean, from the moment that you were shortlisted, a lot more effort and work had to be put in to prepare the perfect pitch. We learned many new skills and attributes during this entire mentoring and coaching period, which will serve us well moving forward, really.
That sounds good. Anas, I'm going to direct the same question to you in terms of the CSXC. Was there anything that surprised you upon joining?
No, not really. I mean, there weren't any surprises. It was a very well-organized program, and the process was clear, and every step of the way we had support, and the folks at CapitaLand were kind of guiding us and helping connect with the mentors and explaining things. So it was very very helpful overall.
Okay, touching on your point of sort of working together, having mentors, was there a favorite part of the CSXC that you really enjoyed?
I really enjoyed learning more about Singapore and the business that CapitaLand has in Singapore and Asia in general, and understanding some of the specific characteristics about buildings in Singapore, and the performance of buildings there, and the climate and the impact of the climate on these buildings and our solutions. So that was really an interesting part of the process.
Okay. I also do want to touch on, you mentioning that CapitaLand is really hands-on in terms of helping you determine some of these pilots. Maybe you can give us some more details into sort of the pilot process with CapitaLand. So how does that look like? It is, discussion and then scoping out maybe costs or location. Maybe you can just give more details on that.
Yeah, I mean, it started with trying to identify the right location that would be feasible for a conclusive pilot, where you can really measure the impact of the solution and be able to determine how successful this solution would be for other properties or for other buildings in different locations. So that was a big challenge at the beginning. And I can say really right now, it's after 6 months, I mean, we've been working on that. And after that, we had to run some energy models on the buildings that we selected and run scenarios with our system to identify the perfect option. So right now, I'm happy to say that, we finalized the agreements with all parties and started collecting data for measurement and verification. And the results will be published at the end by a reputable third party. So this project and the final report is going to be really helpful for us, because it'll provide a real world validation of our technology on a larger scale. So we're super excited about it.
Sounds really exciting.
Yeah.
Did you start with one property, or did you just start with multiple all at once?
Well, to tell you the truth, I mean, we went into the annual report for CapitaLand and went through all the properties and kind of, identified what we believe would be the right fit. I think we selected a few in Singapore and then a few in the US. And with everything that is going on with COVID and everything, we kind of determined that probably it's more feasible to do it in the US. And then from there, we tried to narrow down, and with the help of CapitaLand, we kind of picked one site that we believe is really good in Portland, Oregon, and we're working on that.
That's good. So I think to a large degree as well, you did your own research just to make sure that you knew which properties that you wanted to target and pilot. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Joe, maybe we can hear a bit from you about how the pilot process has been like for you with CapitaLand.
Well, on our end, we had a slightly easier task because essentially the QRW is applicable for more than 50% of the CapitaLand portfolio is in Singapore. So it was a matter of choosing we wouldn't call it the right building, but the building that had a profile. We eventually landed at Capital Green. And so the entire pilot process was quite long, but I think it was necessary to get all the paperwork and of course the definition of the scope of the pilot in place. So we are implementing the system in the first quarter this month, and we'll be tracking the MMV results throughout the year to verify that we can deliver what we promise.
Right. Okay. And through this whole process, CapitaLand has been helping with the scoping as well as giving advice on what they see as most relevant and most impactful for their properties. Is that right?
Oh yeah, right from the competition till right now. I think we really impressed with the CapitaLand team on their level of participation, and of course they're always there to help you, to guide you, and that's really, really good. I mean, you can meet clients that have a different mindset, but the team has been really open and very helpful in all meeting what we require.
Aside from pilots, how else has CapitaLand or the CSXC managed to help you with your business growth?
Well, of course, the company's profile has benefited immensely. We're getting calls from people that we don't know who have saw this competition And further, we believe that having a company like CapitaLand and an international panel of experts decide that your solution and value proposition makes sense is actually the best endorsement of your efforts in the highest sense. So like I said during the competition, we are humbled, but we are also heartened to be given this great opportunity.
That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that the CSXC has helped you. So I guess, moving on to the last bit of questions that I have, I was just curious in terms of just previous participants of the CSXC and just seeing other participants of the CSXC. What top 3 qualities do both of you see in successful CSXC participants? Maybe we can start with Anas.
I believe that having good communication skills and understanding exactly what the participants want to get out of the program, and then being laser focused on achieving that goal is really, I think, would be some of the top, qualities or skills that would help participants succeed or win at the end.
Okay. And for Joe?
I think we share the same views. Maybe I'll just phrase it differently. You have to have innovation. I think what we saw really, like I said, was an eye-opener. There are things that you wouldn't imagine without this competition. I've seen a lot of new innovation in technology. Adaptability, meaning you need to customize your solution. You have something great, but how do you sell it? We learned a lot doing that. And of course, finally, the drive to make it happen, because it's not simple and straightforward. You have to put in the minutes and the hours. So yeah, in a way, it's similar, but just maybe phrased differently.
Right. On the flip side, is there anything that CSXC participants should try and steer away from?
Oh, I think the one thing that you should avoid is demonstrating that your solution is the one and only and the best, and that you'd be a fool not to take it, because I think there's no one right way to do to solve a problem. So you need to be humble. You need to like I said, adaptable. You need to take in comments, remarks, feedback, advice, and turn it into a positive spin.
So really just being receptive to feedback, positive criticism, and really just understanding that, it is something that could be beneficial for your company's general growth, to have an open mindset, to really be willing to learn. Is that correct?
That's correct. My original presentation slide deck is maybe very, very different from what I finally presented. and I learned, what it meant, to actually have a really professional, good presentation. I learned a lot during that process. Yeah.
So actually, I think how to really benefit from the CSXC is also really having an open mind, just like you have through the whole process, in order to really just improve and learn.
Yes.
So Anas, on the flip side as well, I want to ask you, what would you advise CSXC participants to sort of shy away from? Maybe, don't be nervous, maybe try to have more concise presentations. What do you think?
First, I would really echo what Joe mentioned. Being flexible and willing to learn along the process is very, very important. And at the same time, at the end, mastering the pitch is really important. How can you distill technical solutions and technologies to a few words and present it in a very simple and concise way, in an interesting, sort of like a storyteller type presenter. So that's very, I believe, is very important, because if people don't understand your solution real quick, they'll lose interest and they might not really listen to you, as you go through your presentation. Also, one more thing, sometimes I see that a lot, that people try to have a lot of words on the pitch deck, on the slides, a lot of text, and people can either listen to you or read. The simpler you make your presentation, the better, because at the end of the day, you're going to be presenting, you're talking, this is not a leave behind presentation. So I would advise to minimize text as much as possible if this is a practical kind of advice for presenters.
I think that's very good advice for future participants, where I think you bring up a great point where it's not only about having a great business or a great solution, but it's also about being able to communicate that effectively. I think both you and Joe touched on that. So I think with that, we're actually running close to the end of our time. I'd just like to thank the both of you for being with us here today. Thank you for sharing your insights and your thoughts. I think it definitely gave a lot of information as well as knowledge to the audience, as well as prospective applicants for the CSXC. Thanks so much.
Thank you, John.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. Pleasure being
Thank
here.
you.
Yeah.
Pleasure ours. Thank you.
Take care. All right, I hope everyone enjoyed that. Before we end off the briefing session, we hope to receive some feedback from you, the audience. There will be 2 questions that pop up on your screen. Do help us to fill that in. All right, so if you'd like to stay in touch, please look at the 4 individuals on the screen, including myself. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions about the CSXC, or if you want to find out more about CapitaLand or Plug and Play. And with that, that concludes our CSXC. Please remember to register your interest by the 28th of February. We look forward to receiving all of your amazing applications. Take care and have a great rest of the day.